Hey, everybody. I am Lillie Mae, and I'm so excited about my new series called She's Making Black History Today. As a creator of the Glambitious brand, I just want to continue to amplify Black excellence. So if this is your first time tuning in, make sure you visit theglamceo.com and also follow me on Instagram. I am Lillie Mae. Carmen, I know we met in Atlanta and we were both, busy gals in the city of Atlanta. So I can't even remember exactly how we met, but just introduce yourself to everyone and kind of take us on the journey to, what led you to creating the Black Girl Social Club.
Yes, it has been a long time. Somebody asked me a few days ago how long I've been in Atlanta. I'm like, I don't know. It seems like forever, but I think it's been about 10 years now. And I feel like we met on like the entertainment scene or something like that. But I originally came to Atlanta for that, to be in the entertainment industry. Had actually gotten fired from my job in Northern Virginia. And I was looking for something new. I wanted to start new. And Atlanta was the place to be at the time. I mean, it still is, but 10 years ago, it was like, okay, I got to get to Atlanta because that's where all the Black excellence is, right? And so at the time I was blogging and really interested in like entertainment. And so I would cover red carpets and, go to events and stuff like that. Always been extremely social, wanted to be like in the mix. And so eventually people started asking me like, hey, like girlfriends and people I didn't know, people would DM me, other Black women, hey, where you going? I want to go too. Can I hang? That kind of thing. And I'm like, it seems like people are seeking community. They're seeking connection, which I was too at the time. And so one thing led to another. I said, hey, I think I can form a group and we can all just do stuff. And it took off that same year. I mean, within 2 years, we had 4,000 members. And so, that's kind of how it started. I've always just been kind of like a girl's girl, very pro-Black. And so putting those two things together, the Black Girl Social Club was born.
I love it. I love it. And I saw that, you've been featured, I think, in Essence magazine. I know you were on Watch What Happens Live with Andy, which is like a super huge deal. So you've accomplished really great things with the Black Girl Social Club. Well, tell us, how did you get on Andy?
Well, it was, again, just knowing the right people, right? And so, no, we have a really amazing team member on the team. Her name is Kia Mason, and she has her own production company. So I'm going to shout her out, Mason Castle Productions. And she's in the entertainment industry as well. And so she said, hey, you know what? I think this will be a good look. And so we ended up on the show. It was a great time. Andy was just as interesting in person as he is on TV. And it was just a really fun thing to do. We had some of our members in the audience rooting us on. So it was really cool.
I love it. I love it. And I know you've also expanded outside of Atlanta. So talk a little bit about expanding outside of Atlanta, what steps you took to really grow your brand the way that you did.
I really I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I really do believe in social capital, is what I call it. I really do believe in getting to know people, building relationships, and networking. And that's how I've always been. And so over time, I've been able to build connections everywhere. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I was able to build the Black Girl Social Club. I hit people up in different cities and like, hey, want to do this? And they were like, yeah, cool. I mean, because they knew me, they knew my work ethic, they knew that this is something that was serious and important to me. And so they felt comfortable, trusting me, even in the beginning stages of growing the organization. So it really is another case of knowing people and having a network of people that you trust and that trust you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought up the trust factor, because oftentimes as business owners, it's hard to trust people with your brand. It's hard to trust people with your business. A lot of times we don't even expand because we're doing everything because we lack that trust that someone else is going to operate in the same excellence that we do.
Yeah.
So how did you, develop that, I guess, confidence or even the faith to trust other people with the baby, created, the baby that you birthed?
Well, to be honest, I didn't have a choice. I didn't really have a choice. If I wanted to expand, I just had to, right? And it is hard to let go. But on the other hand, at my core, I really love giving people opportunities. I really love, especially giving Black women opportunities to grow, to lead, to be able to make a difference in their communities. And so for me, I didn't necessarily look at it as, oh my God, I'm trusting all these strangers to do this. I looked at it as an opportunity for us to build community, to give people an opportunity, like I said, to lead and to have an experience that they might not otherwise have.
I love that. Perspective is everything. I love that. I love that. And so, I know that, on the outside looking in for people, they don't see the challenges or the bumps along the way, right? They see you looking beautiful and stylish on Instagram. They see, you traveling to different events that you all are having all over the country. But tell us about what you feel is the most significant challenge you had to kind of overcome in this process of building such a successful brand?
I think the biggest challenge would be, while I talk about all of the amazing people that I've worked with, and I've had a lot of support. The organization has had a lot of support. If we didn't, we wouldn't still be standing, right? But I think along the way that something you'll find as business owners, and I'm not going to say it's specific to the Black community because I don't believe that's true, but you will always run into people who oppose what you're doing, who are challenging what you're doing, who are don't trust your leadership, who are looking at ways to poke holes in what you're doing and question your integrity, those kinds of things. So those things are really hard and challenging for someone like me who does operate out of integrity and really wanting the best for Black people. That was one of the biggest challenges and still is, when you are doing something that you think is good. And, one thing about people can find a way to make a good thing not a good thing on occasion. But overall, the experience has been amazing.
I love it. And so if, with all the wisdom that you've gained along the way, if you can go back to the version of you that was at Howard or the version of you that was at Clark Atlanta, what would you tell that version of you now that you've had so many life experiences, successes, challenges, and so forth? What would you go back and tell that version of you?
Man, that's a good question, right? Because honestly, if you would have known the version of Carmen at Howard, I don't think anybody would have said I was going to be a CEO of a company, right? Or organization. I don't think anybody would have predicted that. I was very much a party girl on the scene. That was my vibe. I've always been just like, I want to be social. And so I made a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of things that I think in my older age, almost 40, I said, you can look back and say, I would have done that differently. Or, boy, I wish I would have done this. But honestly, I can't say that I would have, because I think everything I did and everything I experienced led me to this point. Had I not lost my job in Northern Virginia, I never would have moved to Atlanta. Had I not experienced some of the things I experienced, I wouldn't have the skill set, the know-how. I wouldn't know the people that I know. So everything in my mind is a part of God's plan. And I'm just taking it as it comes.
I love that. It sounds like you really mastered the art of trusting the process and then giving yourself grace. I know for me,
Mhm.
I'm extremely hard on myself. So, as far as like
Stop
mistakes, and that's good. I am so hard on myself. Like anyone that knows me, like Lillie, you are way too hard on yourself. And so it sounds
that.
like you give yourself the grace to be human and you
Mhm.
trust the process. Is that what you would say as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you don't do it, no one else will. Because one thing I know about, again, like we said about entrepreneurship and being in leadership, people oftentimes dehumanize you.
True.
They don't give you a lot of grace,
True.
right? The world doesn't give you a lot of grace. So
Mhm.
the least you can do is give yourself some grace and some room to grow. And I love myself. And
Mhm.
I plan to keep giving myself grace as I navigate this process because it's not easy.
It's not easy. And so, brand aside, you as the human, you as the person, when you are alone, right? And it's just you, what is typically at the top of mind? Like, what are you typically thinking about when it's just you alone as the successful young Black
Mm.
woman? Like, what is usually at the top of your mind these days?
Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot that's in my mind, is what I mean. But the top things right now, to be honest with you, I'm always thinking about the Black Girl Social Club and how I can make it better. Things I need to do. Like I know entrepreneurs will wake up at 3 in the morning and have a thought, and it's like, oh, I
Mhm.
need to do that.
Mhm.
So Black Girl Social Club is always at the top of mind. But when it comes to my humanity and just outside of that, I'm thinking about politics. I'm very much into politics. I was a political science minor, public policy. I got my degree in public policy from CAU. I got a master's, my MPA. I think about politics and social justice issues a lot. So as you can imagine, this time period we're in has me in a tizzy, and I'm wanting to use my voice and spread the word and talk about all the issues. And then I think a lot about family, my friends, mental health, how people are doing, how I'm doing, what the world, where the world is headed. I think a lot about that. And so I'm always
Mhm.
thinking about how to make the world a better place and things that we can do as a community to do that.
Right. The reason I ask is because I do feel like in this climate, most of us have a lot at the top of mind and it can get a little heavy. And so, what would your
Mhm.
advice be to the woman that's watching that feels a little heavy right now or feels a little unstable or uncertain in different areas of life?
Yeah, I mean, first I'll say I've been there because I think also, sometimes when you get in certain positions, people feel like you don't have any problems and you're never confused and you got it all figured out. That's not the case. Like I've been there, I go in and out of that. But at the end of the day, what I do is I make sure that I, again, put myself first. If I feel myself going off course, where I'm running myself ragged and being super stressed out, I reel it in. I give myself a day off. I give myself a trip. I take myself to my favorite restaurant. I write, I read, I go out in nature. I hang out with my friends, because I had to take 3 months off at one point because I was about to lose it.
Mm,
My therapist told me I have to sit down
mm,
or else,
mhm,
right? And
mhm,
so I know what it's like to push yourself to a point of um, your body and your mind and your spirit just being completely shut down.
mhm,
And I never want that for any other woman because we do put a lot on our shoulders as
mhm.
women and especially as Black women. And so my advice would be, yes, we want to do stuff. We want great businesses. We want to support people in the community. We want to be great moms, wives, daughters, all that. But at the end of the day, you come first because if there is no you, baby, it ain't none of the other stuff that you got going on. So,
Right, exactly, exactly. And you mentioned you're about to turn 40, so I'm 43, so I'm a little season 40. And oftentimes when we approach 40 or we're in the 40s, we start to feel like we're running out of time, and this, interview is about making Black history today, about being successful and achieving certain things. Like, how are you navigating your approach to 40 and beyond without feeling anxious as it relates to time?
Well, to be honest with you, I am a very go with the flow. I don't say that's a lie. I'm not a go with the flow kind of person, but I am someone who believes that things happen as they're supposed to and when they're supposed to. So I don't put a lot of pressure on myself to make things happen based on a timeline. That's just not how I am. And I don't think it serves any real purpose. And then, to be honest, when my dad died in 2020, it made me value my time more. So I realized, like, approaching 40 is a blessing. Every day is a blessing. Every minute is a blessing. And so, am I going to be upset that I'm about to turn 40 in a year or so? No. I'm going to be happy and rejoice in that moment and enjoy every drip drop that I get out of life.
I love that. Listen, I just love all the positivity. Okay. I feel like I need to move you into my home, into a room, so that in the morning I can be like, Carmen, come on over here, child. I need to hear some of those positive.
As long as you got some Wi-Fi and some champagne, girl, we're good.
I love it. No, I really like that it seems like your mindset, allows you to be the resilient Black woman that's making Black history today. It sounds like your mindset is what allows you to go through challenges with grace, give yourself grace, give others grace, and really trust the process and trust the journey that God has you on. So I love everything that you're saying. It just is giving peace. It's giving flow. And I love that. What do you feel like is next for you, and what are you looking forward to most?
So what's next for me is I am moving into the mental health space a little bit because I do believe entrepreneurs deserve rest, right? And so I recently developed a nonprofit called CEO Unplugged, specifically for entrepreneurs, where we're going to focus on entrepreneur mental health. We're going to try to have some free mental health services, free lifestyle services. So whether it's fitness gurus, sound bowl gurus, people coming in that are really helping us build a holistic, like you said, build our mindsets, because that is what's most important, the mental fortitude. So the CEO Unplugged is definitely something that's next for me. And I plan to have my first event here in Atlanta in March. So I'm excited about that.
That is very, very exciting. Listen, I'm looking at my calendar like, can I make it back down to Atlanta?
You're invited. You're invited.
That is so awesome. I'm really proud of all the things that you're doing. I really love just the mindset you have as it relates to life, as it relates to entrepreneurship, going with the flow, giving yourself grace, trusting yourself, all of those things. I think when we think about she's making Black history today, I just wanted to be able to get into the mindset of women who are doing major things, because like, you said, sometimes people think that, you don't have any challenges, that life is perfect, that you're somehow lucky. And they don't know that it's a process for you have challenges just like the next person. And your mindset, allows you to overcome those things. So is there anything else you would want people to know, or let them know how they can stay connected with you?
Yes, you all can follow my personal page on Instagram, carmen.nicole.jones. You can follow the organization, the Black Girl Social Club. Make sure you put the Black Girl, put the in front of it. We have a lot of fake pages out there of us. So make sure you're following the right one. And you can follow CEO Unplugged. So it's CEO Unplugged on Instagram. And that's how you can find me. So I talk about everything on my page, politics, culture. So come on over there for a good old time.
Yes, yes. You guys make sure that you support Carmen and stay connected. Like I said, the Black Girl Social Club is not just in Atlanta. Like there are events all over the country. So make sure you tap in no matter where you're tuned in from. There's probably a Black Girl Social Club near you. Okay. So make sure you stay connected with her and all the great things that she has coming up. Also, again, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure you visit theglamceo.com to stay connected with the many things we have coming up, one of which being Essence Fest. So if you're going to Essence Fest this summer, join us for brunch on July 6th. All the details are over on the website. Stay connected. This was my very first She's Making Black History Today interview. When I posted about this on Threads, there's been like almost 700 responses. So I'm excited.
That's amazing.
I know. I was like, oh, okay, we got some work to do now.
The girls are making Black history, honey. Okay.
They are. That's right. And we're celebrating it. So I appreciate you again for joining me and, sharing your wisdom, being like a beacon of not just Black excellence, but like, peace and serenity. I feel like that type of mindset that you have is what people need to see more of, because there's just so much fear mongering on social media these days. So I love that you come with such a balanced energy and perspective to share with the girls. So
thank you for having me.